Wait. Last thing. I'm also gonna need that extended warranty on it for the price of on the house.
That I can't do.
I had to cut it off there.
Oh, come on, man. I want to see the whole thing. This your boy? This your boy? Yeah, we represent Price Mart. What?
Yeah, man.
I love that scene, bro.
It's funny because literally like a millisecond right after that, it goes like, now you got yourself.
Now you found yourself. Yeah.
Classic movie. But yeah, man, like I'm so sorry we haven't done this, or I guess I haven't done this in a month. It said like 4 weeks ago or something. And I was like, shit. I'm sure like everyone quit already, so but everyone showed up, which is cool. Sean's running a little bit late, but it's all good.
I was gonna say, yeah, we all quit collecting everything we talked about collecting.
Yeah.
Ago.
Stop
Sorry.
watching the episodes. Yeah, we talked you out of it. Cool. Danny, man, how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I don't even remember what I did. A lot of hiking. I did a lot of hiking. I went like back to back Saturday and Sunday, so that was cool. Just to get out more.
I thought you get. Oh, how's it in the Bay Area? Is it still like?
Well, it was raining, so it finally like this last week it's been sunny. Still cold, but sunny. So that's why it was easier to go out.
Okay. Cool. CC,
Or certain people.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Good. I worked all weekend. Which honestly, it's so freaking cold. I don't want to do much anyway. I feel really lazy. Like I just want to stay inside. It's -3 right now, and I'm over it. Yeah.
It hit 59 degrees today. It's supposed to be 13 degrees tomorrow. Like it's going up and down around here.
I think the high today was like 4 degrees, and tomorrow I think it's going to be like 30 is the high. So we'll see.
Gotta bundle up. Sean, man, you look like you're bundled up.
Yeah, man, it's gotten pretty cold down here.
Where are you at again? You're in
San Antonio.
San Antonio. Oh, what's cold for you guys? What, 50 degrees or?
Oh no, man, it's like let's see, cold would probably be. I think the coldest I've experienced was 10 in San Antonio,
Okay.
and then today it was like 33 with the wind chill, so the wind blowing stuff. So
It was -15 yesterday with the wind chill.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. We broke a record apparently.
You know what's funny about that wind when it's that cold? Like it feels like it smacks you in the face every single time it just starts picking up. You're like, ow! It hurts. Yeah, my lips always feel it. Cool, Sean. How about you, Money? You look like you're in good old LA, sunny LA.
It's not sunny. It's like partially cloudy. It rained yesterday for a little bit. It's been raining a lot in California lately, man. Well, in SoCal,
Yeah.
I guess. It has been raining a lot.
No, it's up here too.
And it's been cold,
which is good.
but cold for me is like 60.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How was your weekend, man? Did you do anything crazy?
I don't think so. I don't even remember. Oh, I went to Disneyland on Friday with Mario. Me, Adriana, and Mario, which was cool. Always cool to hang out with him.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And then I don't think I did anything Saturday or Sunday that I can remember. Just around the house stuff. But Disneyland was fun, man. There's a new ride there that Mario really wanted to ride, but it's a fucking hassle at Disneyland getting into new rides and stuff now. They have this app, and you gotta wait in like a queue, like a lobby thing, and if you get in, then they'll give you a time to come back and get on the rides. And so we got in for this new ride for like 5:00 p.m. and like every once in a while it would drop back a little while. So it went from 5:00 to they shut down the ride and they said come back after the parade at 11. And I was like, what the fuck? We're not staying till 11 at night. Mario really wanted to, dude. I could tell he wanted to, but I was like, nah. We aren't staying, bro. I can't. Got to get home. But it was fun, man. I got to do everything else that I love. Obviously, we went to Galaxy's Edge. I really wanted to buy a lightsaber, but I was trying to save money for statues. So, but they had a couple lightsabers on sale. Danny, I thought of you because they had Plo Koon's lightsaber on sale. And I was like, oh man, that would look nice right
No,
next to that
I'm done with
statue.
those sabers.
Oh man,
I bought the
They had-
Ahsoka and
they had
just too
those.
thick.
They had the Rebels. Oh no, the Clone Wars ones. I think the Rebels ones are sold out. I don't know, but yeah. So I was interested in that, and I did buy a lot of food. Like I was sending food pics all
Dude,
day.
we saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
That sounds like an awesome weekend, man. So, how about you, John? How was your weekend?
I don't know how I'm gonna top that.
Yeah.
It was uneventful. We had a snowstorm come through, so it was sleeping in, shoveling snow, and that's pretty much it. Some family time. Nothing too crazy. Glued on Facebook Marketplace looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Window shopping, I should say.
That's exactly what we're talking about today. Window shopping, selling, trading, buying, all that kind of stuff. Last week it was like a current debate among collectors, and yeah, that took 2 hours. The one before that took 3 hours. This one hopefully takes just an hour. But we'll see. But coming from the statue world, like buying statues is pretty easy. You buy from distributors, sideshow, and all that stuff. But buying from other collectors is, I don't know how, but it's a hassle. Like you gotta verify them, gotta make sure they're not a scammer, and then like there's like 50 questions. Like, does it include the brown box? Does it include the art box? Is there any damage to it? And all that kind of stuff. And then you gotta start haggling. And then, I don't think I've ever sold anything. Well, I sold a couple of things, but most of the things I sell is people haggling like all the time. I'm sure it's the same way with you guys, right? Like Danny coming from comics, CC coming from art prints and stuff like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right? Just ask for that hookup.
No, everybody wants.
Well, I don't-
Everybody wants to sell at top dollar, but then everyone wants to buy at bottom dollar.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I don't, it's hard for me because, like, I only know from a buyer's perspective because I don't actually sell stuff, like, almost ever, just because I'm kind of stubborn in that regard, where if I like something, I know I want to keep it. And if it's something that I still like, but I'm not sure if it's going to end up on the walls, then the one thing we've talked about is, like, art prints are easier to hoard for a long period of time. It's not like it's going to be holding up a lot of space if you just have it in a portfolio. So I think you can be a little more choosy. At least I can. But I will say, I recently had a conversation with someone about buying an art print that, like, everyone wants right now. And it's tough because everyone wants it, but weren't a lot made, and no one has bought or sold one, obviously. Since everyone who got in on it has their copy. So that's kind of difficult because it's like, well, what do you put a price on something that's aftermarket, but no one has sold theirs on the aftermarket yet?
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
that was
good.
interesting. Where I told him, I was like, look, like, I think, like, I know and I'm pretty transparent. I'm not one of those, like, don't tell them your best and highest number, like, haggle it down. Like, no, like, I'm pretty transparent and I don't want to waste anyone's time. So if I've got a number in mind, because it was a lot of, and I don't know if you guys get this, but when it comes to talking to actual people about their prices, I get a lot of people who are like, well, I don't actually know what kind of price I want to sell it for. What were you thinking? And it's like, no, you know how much you're willing to let it go for. But it's like, it's almost like everyone's keeping their cards close to the chest, and they don't want to throw something out, because if that guy's thinking, well, I want $200 for this art print, and I'm thinking I'll buy it for $3, then he wants me to throw out $3 before he throws out $2. But I mean, it's just, I wish people were a little more, like, upfront with it, because the last conversation I had, the guy was really back and forth about, like, well, what do you think? And what do you think? And then finally he threw out a number that I'm like, I'm nowhere close to that. And he was like, well, let's talk about it. Like, what number were you thinking? And I told him just because he asked. And I'm like, I didn't want to insult you, but like, I'm not buying this print from you. Basically, like, there's no wiggle room here. Like, we're too far apart in numbers. So it'd be insulting to try to like whittle that down and like figure out some kind of compromise. It's like, nope, sorry. I don't want to waste your time, but that's just not going to happen.
How about you, Money? Money, you sold a ton of stuff. Like, what's the whole process for you about like selling for you?
I don't know. I feel like I'm different when I sell. So like, I pretty much, unless I know it's something that's selling for a lot, I know I'm gonna take a loss. So I'll sell it for a loss immediately just to move it quick.
Yeah.
I did that with a lot of my statues. None of them were really selling for crazy amounts, but yeah, when I sold statues, and it's kind of harder because you got shipping and things, and it's harder to move them fast. But like right now, I'm selling a bunch of random small scale stuff on eBay, stuff that like not a lot of people want. It's just random figures here and there, and so what I'll do is I'll list them on eBay for a couple bucks, start them at an auction, and see. And I pretty much let people pick what they want to pay, and a lot of times I get surprised. Like, I'll be like, oh wow, this sold for a lot more than I would have thought it would have sold for, like, even if it's like slightly below what I paid, or it's not that big of a loss. So I've been dealing with that right now, but eBay's kind of annoying because they take a lot for their tax, and then unless you know what the stuff is shipping for, like what the package is going to be and everything, you kind of gotta eyeball it and kind of guess like what shipping is going to be and throw that in there. And then sometimes when you throw shipping in on a bid, people get deterred because they have to pay shipping as well, so they want to see free shipping. So it's like all these things you have to take into account when you're selling stuff, but it's part of collecting. I honestly really hate it, which is why I'm getting like, I've sold so much that like now I'm like, I really don't want to sell things anymore. So things that come in, they're not leaving anymore. Like, that's why I'm like, I'm really trying to not make a purchase unless I know it's staying for sure for like years,
For life, yeah.
Yeah, I can't say for life, but for as long as I hope,
Yeah, man. I feel like I'm in the same boat too. Like, I hate selling, but like sometimes you got to move stuff. But just the selling factor it's not my favorite thing.
It's tedious, man.
Yeah, Sean, I don't know if you sell a lot of stuff, but like you have a lot of figures, and like I don't know how that world is.
Yeah, for me, I have to be in the mood to do it. Like, I rarely sell through eBay or that, for that case, outside of the city. I just don't like the whole shipping process and just all the working with it and stuff. I'd rather meet someone face to face and just kind of get it done. But for me, it's with the small stuff. It's, is it loose or is it in package, and how's the packaging? Some people want the box, and at least here locally in San Antonio, like, you can, if you had a figure that's loose, you could put it back in the box and people will buy it at regular price and stuff. And that's kind of slowly going away. At least with the groups that I'm in, like, we try to be real cool with each other and be like, well, it's $5 over retail, or it's $10 over retail. Nothing really crazy than that, especially if it's on new stuff. But yeah, I just try to avoid all the shipping and stuff. I'd much rather go drive across town and meet somebody than ship something.
Nice. Yeah. Danny, how about you, man? You're the CGC guy. Do you sell any of those, or do you?
Me personally, I don't sell as much as I used to. Like, I used to go eBay before the whole tax thing. I just felt that was the best place to do it. You reach the most people worldwide. It's well established, but yeah, I've only sold locally, like in comic book stores. Like, there's like a network for all the LCSs in my area. So like, once you get into that little network, then people just ask around. Like, you hit up the comic shop, and then they go, oh, if someone's looking for like a AF-15, then they go, oh, Danny has one, Joe has one, blah blah blah. So then they'll just reach out to there. So
That's always the cool thing hanging out in the shops is like
Yeah.
you get to like just talk with everybody, especially on Wednesdays, with the new comic stuff, and then
Yeah.
you know what they're looking for, they know what you're looking for, and some days you just get a message.
So if you get good with the comic book guys, the shop owners, they hear everything. So if someone is looking for something, they're gonna go to the people that have it, that are selling it and stuff. So that's how I've been doing it for like the last 2 years since COVID.
Okay. I haven't done that yet. That sounds. There's a bunch of comic book stores around here. I guess I'm not tight with them, but that'd be cool. Like
You don't have to be super tight, but just you just tell them, hey, I have these books. If you ever hear people asking for them, and you leave them their name and number.
They don't take a cut.
Some do, but my guy is super cool.
Oh, okay.
Like my LCS guy is cool.
You've known him for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 3 shops I go to, and they're super cool. Like if you actually leave it on their display, then of course they're gonna take a consignment cut.
Yeah.
But if it's just like a word of mouth thing, like people just talking shop, then yeah, they'll refer you to customers.
That'd be cool if the Statue World had something like that. Like, it's so random with us.
Yeah.
John, how about you, man? Like, you're kind of selling your stuff, and you're looking for the Superman Hush. How's that going for you? Like, trying to hunt that thing down?
Yeah, with the selling, I just sold a couple of the Hot Toys that I just really didn't have any emotional attachment to. I'm not a huge fan of selling either. It's not my thing. And I refuse to sell. Like, I feel like if I'm going to sell below retail, I'd rather keep it. Because I have more attachment to it. And I'd rather just keep it. Because, like I said, I try to buy, not to sell. That's not the intention. But, a few pieces sneak into the collection that just don't fit. Over time, just don't fit. But, yeah, Superman Hush-wise, I'm looking for that and a couple of other pieces. How's it going? It's not going very well.
So, like, that's the thing I want to ask you guys too. Like, when you guys are hunting, like either art print, a statue, a comic, what depths do you guys go to? Like, do you guys start like doing automatic search on eBay? Start like letting everyone know? I know, like, when I put like I'm looking for this in one of the for sale groups or buy sell groups, I get messaged like a billion times.
It comes to you.
Yeah, I'm probably lucky with that, but just it gets overwhelming to where like I'm like, wow, like this is it doesn't become a hunt anymore. It just becomes like, dang, like they already did the homework for me.
The problem is when you post, I agree with you completely. When you post in the groups, the BST groups, saying what you're looking for, it comes to you, but it won't come to you at a deal. You'll be paying top notch for that. So
Well,
I personally, sorry, Cece, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say, I personally, I just a couple of minutes at night before bed, just check the BST groups and Facebook Marketplace. That's my my go-to.
You start going like you start praying. You're like, please, 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 please.
No, not to that, not yet. We haven't gotten to that extent yet.
That's what I do. That's what. No kidding. You were saying, CZ?
Yeah, ironically, I'm glad my mic was muted. So if I looked concerned, it's because I think I just got a delivery, but I know I got a delivery. I just don't know what I got. But the driver just knocked like he was the police. I was like, it was quite aggressive. I was a little concerned, but yeah, and also I think, and Eddie might be able to relate to this. So someone had asked about like what print I was talking about earlier. And I was haggling with like 2 people recently about an art print. The one I didn't want to mention because I feel like there's almost like, I don't want to say it's a YouTube phenomenon because I'm not a big deal on YouTube, but I think it was Eddie and I were on After Dark on Collecting Weekly, and we're talking about ordering a CGC because the price was okay for like a Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian #1 9.8.
Was it?
Oh,
Was it? I don't think it was Mando #1. Was it the Darth Vader number 20 or something? Was the first cover?
Yeah, it was the first cover. And we
And it
said
like
these
sold out while
we
everyone
set the place and it
on the
sold
panel
out
was
within
ordering
seconds.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It so. I think it's almost like a blessing and a curse. Where if you mention you're looking for something, people will hit you up and like, "Hey, I have it." Or, and I've had this happen where you say you're looking for something, and then all of a sudden everyone like people didn't realize it existed. So then or they're like, you know what, that's a great idea. I think comparable to like Chris the Batman statue collector getting into the samurai line. I feel like everyone was suddenly trying to find those samurai statues. So I think that it could be like it could work out in your favor, or it could be the opposite, where you're just adding a bunch of more buyers to the market that are trying to find something when there's not a lot of sellers for the things that you're looking for. But I agree with the buy sell trade groups. There's a lot of art print buy sell trade groups that I'm in. They're on my feed constantly. So I'm scrolling. So if I see something I like, or if I see something a friend likes, I could send it to them and hope it works out.
You know what's funny about Facebook now? It's like my Facebook has been converted from family and friends to for sale groups, like all day, every. It's like literally like my friends post like about their wedding. I'm like, okay, whatever. My friends post about their kids. I'm like, whatever.
Me
Like,
too.
what's for
Seriously,
sale?
me too.
I should just, I don't know, unfriend everybody. Go like, all right, now it's cleaner, you know. But yeah, that happens to me a lot.
Anytime I'm looking for something, which is not rare, but if I ever think it's like we're blessed because I could just say it here, and usually someone will let me know, like someone on the panel. Steve finds shit quick, man. So if you ever need something, like Steve, I just tell Steve, and Steve's like, oh, I already know someone who's selling that right now. Like, what the fuck? And then we're blessed to be in chats with friends that collect, and if you put it in any of those chats, like it usually comes fast too. Like with anything, like if it's Prince, I put it in the chat with CC and she'll find it quick, like info on it, or comic stuff. I just asked Danny about that, and he told me like last week we were talking about a CGR, like Cosmic Ghost Rider cover, and he like told me like 5 different places I could go get it from. Like, and you know, same with other statue groups, like they're telling me who still has something in stock, or you know, where has the best deal or whatever. So that might be like a privileged YouTube streaming thing, or just like if you're good friends with the people in the groups, kind of like Danny said, if you're good friends with the comic shop owners, well, if you're good friends with all the streamers, you're in the groups or whatever, then that helps a lot.
So let's play Grand Theft Auto. What's good?
Yeah, sorry. Thought I lived in a good area, man. It's like every stream, there's some freaking sirens.
No, you're good, man.
They're coming for me and you tonight.
I know, man.
How's buying for you, Sean? Like, is it easy? Like, I know, like, your figures, you could probably go... I don't know, man, because when I go to Target, look for those figures, like, kids either buy them out or they're adults that buy them all out. Like, sometimes
Adults,
I get lucky.
man.
Like,
Yeah,
when I was doing Black Series, like, they were always sold out.
It's definitely the adults, and that's sometimes I've talked about that before, where I kind of feel bad too, because it's like it's in the same aisle as most of the toys that the kids get and stuff like that, you know. But I mean, I used to be super dedicated to only buying from my comic book shop that I worked at, and I would, even if I paid a higher price, I would still buy from them. But since I've left them, I've kind of spread my wings, if you will, and I go to Target a lot. I like to stay out of Walmart. I just don't really like it. But I'd like to find it locally first if I can, even if I have to pay a little bit more. I mean, I've bought off of BBTS and Entertainment Earth and Target Online, places like that. But Hasbro Pulse a lot recently. But I like to buy and sell groups. I mean, you start to learn who the good guys are and who aren't, you know.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And you know, there's really collectors who want to help each other. That's how I finished my Conchu Build-A-Figure. You know, someone gave me the last piece I needed, and then all I needed was the Scarlet Witch figure when I found it at Target eventually. And now I'm doing the same thing. I go, you know, he gave me the piece. I shouldn't try to profit off of my piece. You know, and so someone was asking about it on a local group, and I was like, hey, I have it if you just want to meet closer to where I'm at. He was like, okay, cool. You know, I feel like that's what it needs to be now. It's just more help, less, oh, that's what you got in your collection, or you should have done it like this, or, you know, I feel like there's a lot of that right now, and we need some more good stuff going on.
Switch to Need for Speed.
I know. No, that was Driver.
Sorry.
You're good. Yeah, man. So let's go to selling. Like we spoke about a little bit about selling, but selling for me, I'm moving stuff around, and I gotta say, like you always get like the first wave of, I hate saying this, like dumb questions. It's like, is this still available? Like, is this still like, even though you fill out the whole description with like everything that you could think of, like people still find a way to not read it and just ask you the same question over and over. How do you guys like deal with all of that? You just shake your head.
I mean,
You
you
gotta
answer
deal with
them.
it.
Yeah.
I want to be, I want to be like sarcastic, but I'm like, is it worth them like going on a group and talking shit about me, or is it worth eBay too? Like they'll message you, and I'm like, is it worth me saying some sarcastic thing just because he's an idiot, or should I just answer politely and just eat it, just like whatever? So yeah, I agree with you. It's very, very annoying. There's a lot of annoying shit that happens.
I haven't dealt with eBay yet. Like, luckily, I sold all of mine locally or through Facebook, like from one of you guys or someone from the groups or something. But eBay, I've never touched. I mean, I tried it once. It's just don't get.
I
any
usually
bite.
only go to eBay when it's something that I think, like Danny said, like there's more eyes on eBay. So if it's something that I think won't sell in a group or take forever, then I just go to eBay and list it there.
I mean, eBay depends what you're selling. Like if you, I mean, other than the 3% from PayPal, I think it's like 10%. No, wait, I think you end up losing about 15% total, or 20 up to 20, like after all the fees are done.
Yeah.
So if you factor that in, eBay, if you have a hot item, like let's say a in demand like comic book, eBay is gonna be one of your best places to go to because it stretches out the furthest. I mean, there's heritage auctions, but there's still nowhere as big as eBay.
Well, if you're doing comics, Whatnot's the place to be now, right?
No, Whatnot's still not the best, I think.
Really?
Because it's so fast. Like there's claim sales, but the people doing claim sales are always putting at the highest value.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't really blame them for it, but that does bug me because I'm like why
eBay,
buy it
if
from
know,
you?
like eBay, if you know you have a seller, I mean, like a good book, it's gonna get to that price. Like you kind of don't have to worry about it. Like people might not bid on it till the 5th day, but it will get up to that price range. So that's what I like about eBay. Back then,
How about
now I don't.
How about
of
UCC? Like, how do you deal with all that stuff?
So, as far as selling goes, because I don't sell very often, or if I do sell, it's to friends. I don't really have a lot of feedback as far as like what's the best avenue, but I do think that what's helpful is the buy sell trade groups, especially because I honestly think you could, depending on what group it is, I like when I can see stuff where I recognize the name of who's selling it. And not only that, maybe I recognize the name, I know what group we're both a part of. And there's like that, I'd almost say camaraderie. I'm not saying like everyone gives like the homeboy hookup with situations like that, but I like that there's more, like you feel a little safer that way, because you know that that person has references and stuff like that. But also just like anecdotally, I prefer buying, or if I were to sell to someone I know or someone who's part of the collecting community that I know, or we have friends in common, because I could also, I think there's more like, I don't want to say like relationship building, but it could turn into, hey, I've got this art print I'm selling. And then they're like, well, I have this art print. Would you be interested in a trade? Whereas if it's on eBay, it's a little more cut and dry, if that makes sense. Like I never interact with. In fact, the last art print I bought on eBay, it had been listed for a few weeks, and it was not terribly expensive. Comparing notes as far as like the buy sell trade groups, eBay, other avenues of buying art prints, I was like, that's a decent price for it. But in a title, the seller had said that it was the standard or regular edition of this art print. And the regular was kind of like a bluish tone. And the variant, which is what I wanted, was like black and white. But obviously, different monitors, cameras. I'm like, it looks black and white in the photos, but maybe these are just shit photos. So I messaged him like 2 weeks ago and was like, hey, you said that this is the regular, but could it be the variant? The regular was an edition of like 150. The variant was 50. And a lot of print, I'm sure this is the same with statues, especially because statues have like QR codes or barcodes sometimes on the bottom. People will cover up the number. I don't know why. I don't know if I were to sell an art print, I wouldn't be bothered by saying what number it is. But I do think, depending on how big of a run it is, you could almost like narrow down maybe who the collector is based on what number they had. I don't know if that's why they do it, but he had covered the number. So I said, hey, like it's either at a 150 or 50. If it's 150, it's the regular. If it's 50, it's the variant. And then, so like I said, that was 2 weeks ago. He never responded. And I was like, all right, whatever. So then I decided to look to see if there's another one or if it was still up. And it was still up. He just changed the title from regular to variant. And I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, I wanted to buy the variant. So like, what the fuck? Had he just messaged me back, I would have been like, sold. Because that's the one I'm looking for. So I still ended up buying it. But sometimes on eBay, I think, I question if these sellers do want to sell their pieces when they ghost or something like that. And I do have a question about people who sell things, or I think it's more towards buyers. But a coworker mentioned this recently where he, it was not about collectibles, but he said that he'll often see posts on like Facebook Marketplace, and it's like something that's listed for $100. And he's like, yep, I want it. I'll pick it up today. I have cash. Let's do this, whatever. And then the post gets deleted. And then a few hours later, he sees it for like 4 times the price. And I think it's like an influx of people who say like, hey, like that thing is actually worth a lot more than $100. Mm-hmm. And they don't do the research. So I think whether you're a seller or a buyer, that's what bothers me. Like the eBay thing, this thing with the Facebook Marketplace stuff, I think just everyone should be an educated buyer. Therefore, everyone should be an educated seller. And if you don't know what you have, like if it's something random or you can't find a lot of information on it, just be transparent. Just be like, hey, I've had this thing for a long time. I got it secondhand. Don't know the company. Like it's not, there's no brand on it, or whatever. And just be pretty transparent with like, hey, I don't know what this is. Therefore not masquerading as selling it for something more than what it is in actuality. Just don't be a dick, basically, when it comes to like describing your items. But then I think it also goes to your previous point of those annoying people who'll be like, hey, what's the size of this? And you're like, there's a thing called Google. You could Google that, like on the company's website, like on the art print website. Like that's all things you can Google. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, how often have you seen that? Like where like, they drop the post and then you see it up again for way more.
It's not something I see, but I'm trying to think if I've seen it a lot with art prints. I have had this happen where it was only the once, but it was enough to piss me off. Someone listed an art print for a price that was like what I consider like ready to move, like what Eddie was talking about. And so I said, yeah, I got it. Like I'll take it. What's your PayPal kind of thing? And and I hadn't basically I see like the dots of like typing. I'm like, oh fuck. And basically what happened was someone else was like, I will pay a lot more for that than what you listed it for. So I basically got outbid, even though it was a buy it now. Which I mean, the I don't blame the seller necessarily for that. But I think if it was me, I'd go for who reached out first. And in that case I did. So but to be fair, like it could be that seller didn't do their research and realize that they had advertised that print for a lot less than what it typically goes for, which is what happened. But I think with buying, selling, missing out, FOMO, I think that if you do miss out on something, the universe has a weird way of not like I'm not into like that manifesting stuff, but I think if I do miss out on something, if I want it badly enough, I'll eventually have an opportunity to get it. Whether it's through the community or hey, if it's Prime One, they'll just reissue a variant.
Oh,
Hashtag too soon. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen it very often, but I have seen people list art prints for a lot less than what they typically go for, and then people complain that like, hey, I was PayPal ready for your asking price, and someone swooped in and just offered more. But there's no way you can prevent something like that.
You know what's funny? I just sold. I won't say which statue it was, but I sold a statue recently, and I was giving him. He said, "I'll create the shipping label, so just give me the dimensions and the weight." I was like, "Sure." Like I literally grabbed it off sideshow.com. It shows you everything there, and I sent it to him, and he goes like, "Hey, I'm sorry to say this, but I think the box is too small for a statue. Like I think you're selling me something else." And I was like, how what? So I screenshot, from Sideshow, like sent him the page, and he was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to offend you or anything. And I was like, well, I was a little bit offended, man, because like what do you think I'm selling you, a brick? Like what the
You're like, oh yeah, it also weighs 3 pounds.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me so far.
Man, I remember there was this one time I was selling a Fantastic Four first Super Scroll, right? And someone's like, "I want it. I'll pay the shipping." That was one thing I was gonna ship, and they're like, "I'll create the shipping label," and the shipping label came to me and it said Fantastic Four game set and like all this crazy stuff on it, and I was like, this is fake, and I blocked them immediately. And then I had another guy, I was trying to buy this really old Hulk book, and we had like a trade and some cash lined up, and then he told me, he goes, "Man, I'm sorry, but someone just offered me something that I can't refuse, so I'm gonna take his deal instead." Like, we were ready to go, and I was gonna get the book. We're meeting on this day, and I was like, man, whatever.
So that's the worst when that happens.
Yeah.
It's devastating. Yeah.
I've heard that a couple times, but yeah, like sometimes, man, the money is so crazy. It's just, you can't offer, you can't refuse, right? But sometimes word is bond, but sometimes people break it. What do you think, John? Sorry, Danny.
No. Well, I mean, I just feel like for those situations, there's like that kind of like buying, selling karma. Like, I don't want it, I wouldn't do it to someone, because I don't want it done to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've had that happen where if you kind of make a verbal agreement with someone, and then let's say for a later date because you're working or whatever, right? Couple days, and then someone else comes in and swoops it. People have no integrity nowadays. That's the problem. It's all about quick cash. Whatever. Anyways, but regarding buying stuff on BST groups and stuff, yeah, you just gotta. I know people get annoying. The worst is when they message you, "Hey, is this available?" and then they don't ever respond ever again. You don't hear from them.
Yep.
It's like, but it's a fake. I think it's a Facebook problem too, because they just do that to bookmark the sale, and then if you lower the price, they'll see that you lower the price and so forth. So stuff like that is not cool. But just put it out there. Everything works out in the end. When it's time to sell, someone will come around and sell it. Just be on top of it.
So, how do you guys feel about like buying straight from the distributor or from the company compared to the for sale groups? Like are you guys patient enough to like wait till somebody sells it, or you guys need to have it when it comes out?
I'm okay with waiting, personally.
I think with art prints, it's kind of different. So just because the lead times between art prints, even at their worst, are nowhere near what you have with statues. Like I pre-ordered the Vader on Throne from Iron Studios. I'm not seeing that shit for a year at least,
Nah.
and that's unheard of in the art print world. Like there's a holdup. There's been I think 2 kind of infamous holdups with art prints, and the one people are still flaming the gallery and pissed off because they ordered it a year ago. And I'm like, in Hot Toys world and statue world, like you'd still be twiddling your thumbs and waiting. So I do think that with the turnaround time with like distributors, like official companies, like either licensed companies or legit, like not private sellers, like individuals from buy sell trade groups, you do have that. You're not waiting so long between the time you order a print and when you actually get it in hand. So that being said, I think that with prints, I think you're more likely to end up. I don't want to say you're more likely to end up buying them once they've sold, but I feel like my collection might be half and half, where like maybe half of the art prints I have I bought as soon as they came out. No, maybe like 75%. I'll maybe I've been better about it. And like 75% of the art prints I own, I bought as soon as they released. And then the rest I had to buy because either I didn't know about them at the time when they released, or they're quite old before I was even collecting, and so I'm having to go backwards. And with statues, I feel like maybe it's because of YouTube and the collecting groups. I feel like if someone releases a statue for pre-order and you miss out on it, like what were you doing? It's either because you didn't have the means to get it, but I feel like there's like statues aren't selling out in like 5 or 10 minutes like art prints do for some of these companies. So with statues, you have more time to think about it. So I think that the buy sell trade kind of environment with statues, it's not as, I think like maybe there's not as much urgency with it. Does that make sense? Am I just rambling at this point? Because I think there are more art prints that get released a year versus statues. And you have more time to order statues just because of the expense and the production. I think it tends to be easier to buy from individuals because art prints go in tubes. Like do they get damaged in shipping? Absolutely. Do they get damaged as often as statues do? No. And then if you buy from a private individual, whether it's an art print or a statue, and it does turn up broken, well, that's a problem if you got it from a private individual versus a distributor that might be able to help you with that.
Very true.
Always got to
What do you think?
PayPal goods and services.
Mm-hmm. No one wants to do goods and services though.
I did it for the first time 2 days ago for a Deadpool figure. It was the first time ever using goods and services.
You bought the Marvel Legend?
Yep.
Nice.
The movie 2-pack with the Negasonic.
That's a really cool figure.
So
we're talking about, what are we talking about again? What's the topic? What's the question you asked?
I got to
Do you want to buy from the distributor?
Oh yeah, right away or waiting. Are you gonna play a clip?
My man.
Hey man, it's like that. I'm 30 now, okay? My memories are, it's coming. It's touch and go sometimes. But anyway, I don't know, man. Obviously, I'd love to wait on everything and get it at a deal because I feel like that's the way things are now. Some stuff, like if I feel secure with the price that it is and like I don't want to miss out at all, then I have to get it. Then that's what I have to do. Cause like I kind of want Queen's Mark III bust, Iron Man bust, and I kind of want the half scale, and those are sold out in most places. I don't think the bust is. It's still available. But like, so you just got to pick and choose. Like, is it worth the risk of waiting? Is it not worth the risk of waiting? Most sideshow stuff is you can wait. Like that blade, like that low 400 ES. I was like, do I wait on that one? Because everybody likes this one, man. And like, I do want a blade. You know, I don't know if the dial is gonna be better than the museum one. Should I get it? But that's still available. And I would have just went and bought that one if John and Brenton didn't tell me to wait. So I waited, and I'm glad I waited because it's still there. So I don't know. I feel like it is your, like, do you have the means right now? It's like it's all on a person to person basis. Like, do you have the money? Do you mind putting the money down and waiting? Because honestly, too, I hate putting money down on stuff that comes out in 2 years. I hate putting money and shit on things like that. Yeah. Like, it bugs the shit out of me. I think that's part of the reason I cancel stuff. Because I have money sitting, and I'm like, I want something that's here right now. But that money's just sitting there waiting. You know, so like, sometimes I make dumb decisions because of that. So like, I realize like I don't want the money sitting there, or I have to be better about just letting that money sit there. But yeah, that's how I feel about it, I guess.
You shouldn't have kids, then, Eddie, because when they're growing up, you're like, come on, girl, get the hell out of here.
Don't jinx me, man. Don't be jinxing me.
For me, it's like, when does it come out? You know, kind of like what Eddie was saying. Like, even with some of these 112 stuff, they've got dates for like a year and a half, 2 years out, and I'm like,
crazy.
Like, I'm not gonna sit on this figure. I would much rather it come out and I'd pay more on it. That's honestly, I would rather do that because I will have money wrapped up somewhere else. Whether one, I can't afford it, or two, you know, just I have the money, but something else is about to come out. So I would much rather go buy that than wait 2 years to pre-order it, miss the pre-order at the last minute, and have to go buy it somewhere else or secondhand.
Yeah, it's the biggest risk of all, too, buying it secondhand, because either, you know, a lot of the times it goes down, but a lot of, you know, the other half of it is it's double the price now.
Yeah.
Well, and just like, I don't understand how some of these 112th guys are like, okay, this is coming out in 2 years, when it's kind of like Hot Toys territory. You know, like, what else do you have lined up that you're not already dropping, that you're saying, hey, this is coming out 2 years from now, and then you're like, oh, well, this is coming out, and then this is coming out, but this one's going to be 2 years from now. You know?
Danny, with CGCs, like, you have to order basically the day of, right?
It's a little different because, like, CGC is a service. So you're submitting, like, whether you're buying off the rack for $3 and you know, $4, whatever, and you submit it yourself.
Yeah.
But then there's this thing where certain artists, they have, you know, they're doing, like, I guess for newer books, like newer covers, because now the thing is variants. So you want to get that hot variant. But then there's like a million variants now. So like there's like, let's say like a Hulk #1 comes out, a brand new series. That Hulk #1 will have probably at least 20 variants at minimum, probably more. So it's up to the community to decide, I guess, which one's going to be that hot variant that everybody wants. So like you're going to gamble. Like a lot of retailers, a lot of the artists that do their own covers, they will offer like a 9.8 version. Like you pay like, I think 100 or anywhere from 100 to 140 or $50, and then if you want to get it signed, it's even more, like 200. So you can do those pre-orders. They're guaranteeing you're going to get a 9.8, and then it's whether you're going to gamble whether that book is going to be that book. That, you know, if you're going for value, you're gambling. But I think everyone should just buy what they like. You know what I mean? If you don't like the cover, I wouldn't take the gamble. It's just kind of like a bonus if it goes up for me. So it's that thing. You gotta you're whether you're gambling whether if you want to pre-order a 9.8 version, if it's gonna go up or down, because a lot of variants tank after like 3 months. So you can get them dirt cheap, like under $40 or $50 sometimes. So it's just a gamble, like whether you think it's gonna be that hot book or not.
It's true. Like I always wait for the CGCs to always hit $50. If they hit $50, buy it now.
Yeah.
Because like I never see anything under $50.
Well,
like,
there's
for
a
CGCs.
there's kind of like a saying amongst the community: if you can get a pre-order CGC 9.8 for under $100 and you love that cover, go for it, because it costs like $60 after all the shipping and all the pressing and cleaning. It's about $60, and then if you're buying a variant, the variant is most likely gonna be $10 to $20. So you're paying like $10 to $20 extra just to make sure it's a 9.8. So if it's like $100, I would just buy it if you love that cover.
So this has like that awful Newton ring. You can see it there. But to be fair, this was $50 shipped. So I heard Danny's voice when I saw this on eBay. Where like it would cost me like $3.99. $4.99. It would cost me $4.99, and then what, $40 just for CGC to do their thing with this. I don't think that includes shipping. So it's like I think the seller literally took a hit on this. But it's like if you just like the cover, I don't see any harm in you're basically paying what the time, effort, and service of sending it to CGC to get. So yeah, I'm like, regardless of if it's a key or anything crazy, aesthetically, I think if I like the cover, knowing what I do because of Danny, I have no problem paying $50. Or like you said, Steve, like if it's less than $50, hell yeah, like get it. I think that's a no-brainer. I will say, because I know we're running out of time, the one thing I did want to mention about art prints is, and this is something I don't think is typical of like statues, I'd say, or the smaller scale figures, but I've run into it a few times recently, and I've always known about this. So at least with statues, you have multiple different options as far as buying direct or through a distributor or going the secondary market route. But I found a few art prints, as I do, scrolling through eBay. I think it was after I bought one on eBay, I was looking through other things the seller had, and he had a few art prints that were, one was signed by the artist, and it was, I think, $40 or $50 before shipping. And I'd never seen it before. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me look into it, because I'd never seen it before. I'm not terribly familiar with this artist. I looked. The artist had it on their website. I had this happen twice. One artist, I know they have their own website and an Etsy shop. I looked on their website, wasn't on there. I looked on their Etsy shop, it was on sale. So that $40, $50 art print was on sale for $15 on the artist's actual website.
Wow.
The other art print I saw that was signed by the artist, I think it was like $49 or something like that. Checked the artist's website. It was an older art print. So the artist was discontinuing them, not going to print anymore. So therefore was selling them for $5. So I bought 2 art prints from the same artist for, I think it was like $20 shipped. So the shipping cost more than the art prints. When someone was trying to sell them on eBay for like $40 or $50 each. So that's what, when people reach out to me and ask like, hey, have you seen this art print? I have looked and seen like, well, you're seeing them on eBay for like $250. The artist still has them on his website for like $150. Like that seems like a no-brainer. Or hey, this gallery that you've never heard of before, that's legit, you're gonna pay a little more for shipping, but they have it too, and it's a lot less than that. So I'd say, like anything, do your research and don't just assume that eBay is your best option. But I think that's, like I said, we're beating a dead horse about eBay being shitty.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're closing up to an hour. Like, anybody have any questions or anything else they want to bring up regarding like selling, trading, or buying? I know, like what CC said was like you got to be patient, like too. Like the Superman Hush, I bought locally, and unfortunately, it didn't have the brown box or like in the foam or anything like that. But man, it was 20 minutes away, and it's like one of those most sought off pieces. And I was like, I'll carry it like a baby back home. I'll do the sacrifice. But like, yeah, patience and doing your homework.
Yeah,
And
you gotta do your homework, especially if it's like a big ticket item. I mean, if it's like what, less than $50 or whatever, then go crazy. But once it's like over, I think a couple hundred, then yeah, just look around. Don't settle for the first thing you see.
look around and ask Danny. That's like the biggest thing.
No, don't ask me.
That can backfire sometimes too. Is the
Yeah.
sitting back. That can backfire. I think it's working now just because the state of the world that we're in. But I do think eventually when the wheel starts spinning in the right direction and things start moving again, I think we're gonna kind of go back to the days where, if you wanted a piece, you're gonna have to act on it. I think COVID threw a wrench into how all these companies distribute pieces and the quantities they're distributing and how many people are in the hobby and so forth. So it's going to take a bit of time to get out of that rut, but I think we will get out of that rut.
Well, also what was distributing too. I mean, for the longest time, things were just held up.
And then everything comes in an influx at once.
I still need a PS5.
But have money ready. If you're after a piece, save your money and have it ready. When that deal comes, act if you're ready to do it. Don't strain yourself or overextend yourself. But if you're after a piece, have it ready because there are deals that will come. And if you don't move quick, I think that there was a Superman Hush that went up. I don't even think it was 15 minutes. It was gone.
It was 25 minutes. I tagged you on it. I messaged you. You messaged the guy, and it was already sold. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Eddie did too, and so did
Yeah.
Phoenix, and it was gone already.
That's why John stopped working so he can get the next Hush.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the biggest thing too, though. Like, ask around, ask Danny, ask any of us, ask within the community. Like, if you're looking for it, but like John also did say, have money in hand. Don't play that game of like I'm looking for it and then like, oh, I don't have the money right now, stuff like that. Like, time is always valuable to everybody, seller, buyer, everybody. So don't waste any time. Sean, man, like, you got any last things you want to bring up?
No, man, I'm good.
You good? Yeah. I was interested in your collection world because like the figures, I feel like you guys it'd be easy for you guys go to Target and stuff, but I just remember going to go buy Star Wars Black Series stuff. It was always adults taking it home. Yeah.
Like you start hearing the rumors that a certain figure's dropped, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna start checking out my Target, and it could be 3-4 weeks before it's finally made it down to your particular Target or multiple Targets in your area. I mean, there's stuff where I've had to go to the far side of town and it's there, but it's not at my local one that's 5 minutes away, so just kind of, again, it's how bad you want it. And, there's those guys who are hunting from the morning to the evening, so they're like, oh, this is here. It was, there's 3 left. I left here at this time. And by that time, it's already 5 o'clock, and then they're gone.
Wow. Okay. How about you, Eddie? You got any last things you want to bring up?
No, I think it's about some good stuff, some good points. I'm pretty good.
You good? John, how about you?
Yeah. No, like I mentioned, just collect responsibly. I'll say that. Okay. Collect
little
responsibly. Don't do your thing. Worry about you. Don't worry about anybody else around you. Don't be, a lot of people go on and talk and this and that and, oh, I bought this, I bought that. Don't worry about that. Worry about you. Buy for you, buy for your collection, buy knowing your means. Don't overextend yourself. Things will fall into place. If you don't pick it up this year, you'll get it next year. There's no need to rush. That's the whole enjoyment, is the hunt. Once you set up the piece, the fun's over. Then you just sit back and enjoy. But that hunt, until you can get it in your hand, for me, that's the best part. So sit back, enjoy, and don't rush. This is a hobby to enjoy for life, not to buy a collection and then sell it in a year. Enjoy it.
Or to stress over like that too.
Exactly. It's not supposed to be stress.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to that really quick is like don't get too influenced by YouTubers or other people too. Like don't let their like influence mess with your collection. Like, make
100%.
your collection personal
Don't let-
and make it, you know, yours.
Don't let cash influence you. Just
Yeah, this guy right here.
Cashing out. You know, he influenced me, man. I was ready to pre-order that blade. He had a link ready and everything. I was like, yeah.
Jesus.
Oh shit. No. I'm just playing cash.
Oh, that's funny. Cece, how about you?
Another guy's dropping a
Sorry.
box out. Oh, good.
I couldn't find my mouse for some reason. No, I agree with John, especially like I'll always be frustrated with the people who I see who are either canceling shit constantly. Sorry, not sorry. Like I just think that's with the big I know with the big companies, I don't think it's a big deal. But with a lot of the custom custom commissioners, it really hurts them because someone has to pay for that shit up front. So I think it I'm not talking about you, Eddie. But it's across the board. So I think that the people I see canceling a lot, they don't have a focus. And I don't think it's ever wrong to say that. I think you should always go in with a focus and an end game of like, there's always going to be something that comes out that you don't anticipate loving as much as you do until you see it. But don't go into debt over it. Don't like overextend yourself when it comes to collecting, because at the end of the day, like we want to have nice collections, but you also need like a roof over your head to keep them in.
Yeah.
And I think canceling, like you get into NRDs and stuff like that. So I think that I can't afford to be that kind of collector who buys a lot of stuff, cancels a lot of stuff, gets something in, immediately sells it because I have to, because something else came out that was so much better. I think it's a marathon, not a sprint, basically.
100%.
Yeah, and also like remember POs add up. So each month, like you gotta owe that, you know, that's what do they call it? That monthly payment. So it's like either $40, but you got like 5 POs, $40 times, you know, 5 of those,
Listen.
$200 up. Yeah, it's crazy.
Where were you guys 2 years ago, huh?
Let me say something. You know what you guys need to go get out and do? You have bank accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have service charges on bank accounts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, monthly service charge. You go get yourself a credit card at your bank. Even if you have to pay an annual fee, that's fine. Pay an annual fee. And everything you purchase, you put on that credit card. And I mean everything. You, of course, be responsible and pay it off at the end of the month. But I mean everything you pay. You get the credit card that gives you cash back. Like here we got credit cards that give you four times the points or whatever. At the end of the year, the credit card company is supposed to give you all that cash back you've earned. Because we use checking accounts and debit cards. We store the money in there, but we get nothing. You get no interest, you get no points, you get nothing. Use the credit card. You got to, of course, you got to be on top of your stuff and organized. But if you use the credit card to make all your purchases, at the end of the year, you get that nice lump sum. You could put that to the collection fund. And that's literally doing nothing but spending the money you're spending now.
Yeah. Yep. I do that with my Costco card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got like $300 this year, so that was pretty good.
But you got to pay off the credit card.
No, you have to pay it off.
pays-
And it's
Yeah.
gotta have
So-
Pays for it.
You can't
So-
just keep it later.
So better
Yeah,
thing to
that
do.
bonus at the
So
end.
what you can do is, when you get your paycheck, just overpay your credit card. So your paycheck stays in your credit card instead of your bank account. So you're using the money you would use in your checking account, but you're using it on a credit card, and at least you're getting something for it. That's been
Get a
financial
low-
advice
a low
101.
I know.
with-
interest-
101,
low interest
exactly.
credit card.
What did you say? What'd you say?
You don't want a high interest credit card either.
You don't carry a balance. That's the goal. The goal is
Yeah.
not to carry a balance. The
The
money
goal
you'd
is always-
have. Sorry, go ahead.
The goal is always to pay it the first, and then also pay it like half between the month, if you can, you know. But like you try to accumulate that. You try not to pay for interest too. Like you don't want to pay interest on that thing. Don't accumulate like
We
$2,000.
can have a whole banking stream. I'm telling you, we go for a whole other hour, man. I'll set you up
There's
with
secrets to it, man. A lot of people don't
Yeah,
think about
interest
it.
is not good.
No.
It's not
I've
there to
never
help
had a.
you.
I only have 2 credit cards, and I've only got the other credit card probably 2 years ago. I never used credit cards until recently. So yeah, that's new to me, man.
Credit cards should be your best friend, because there's so many benefits to them. Insurance when you travel,
Yeah.
building your credit when you want to get a mortgage. There's just so much to, but you have to be responsible, and on top of it, you got to be organized.
Well, Danny, we saved the best for last. You got anything you want to bring up?
No, how I top John's thing. No, that's solid advice, I think. The credit card, but yeah, you just got to be on top of it. You can't have a balance.
No.
I mean, you can't owe
Yeah.
if you can, if it's possible. I mean, but I mean, everyone's situation is different.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
just
Studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Sorry, Danny, you were saying?
No, I don't even remember what I was saying.
Wow.
That's not that important.
Nah, man, I'm sorry. But well, let me cut it off there. And for next week, I got our next topic for next week. If you guys would like to join, or if you guys have time and everything, but let's talk about displays. What's the most common? What's the most expensive? What do you guys use? How do you guys use it? I know for CGCs, I have different stands for them, different like wall displays for them too. So hoping to see what you guys have and what everyone else recommends. But yeah, man, this not 2 hours, not 3 hours, just a little bit over 1 hour.
The sweet
So not
spot.
too bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Danny, Cece, Sean, Eddie, John, thank you guys, and thanks everyone in the chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So see you guys.
Take it easy.